tuberculosis. So you will be happy to listen that way back in 1992, the first total knee replacement I performed in a tuberculosis of the knee joint. तो वो मेरे नजदीक है. तो हमारा जो रीजनल कॉर्पोरेशन है उसके लिए अनफॉर्चुनेटली ऐसे हालात नहीं है, बट ऑल गोज ऑन, लाइफ गोज ऑन.
Professor Ashraf Nizami, regional and local, we all are local.
Yeah, that's right.
Professor Mulazam Hussain Bukhari, good morning, sir.
When we say regional, we mean by Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Afghanistan.
Yes, we all are.
So this is what is our region.
Very important.
Yeah, this is our region. So that's what I mean by. And certainly, if it is the Amritsar or Lahore, I ever take it as a local indeed. तो वो तो उसके साथ बुखारी साहब ऐसा ही है, लेकिन रीजनल के कॉर्पोरेशन के लिए वो ऐसा है. Nice. Welcome, Bukhari Sahab. Aapka bhi khush aamdeed. Good to see you.
So welcome everyone over here. Thank you for the 0 hours. I think it was a very fruitful discussion between the two doctors from Pakistan and India talking about trauma center. So I also welcome our president, Dr. Anil Kakri, over here on the board. And today we have a very important topic about injuries, trauma center, trauma care, and advanced trauma life support. The topic is injury epidemic of current millennium, current state of trauma care, advanced trauma life support, journey of improving the trauma care. And to talk about this topic, we have a very important from AIIMS. AIIMS is a very reputed hospital in India. He was a former director from 2013 to 2017. He was the head of department, general surgeon, professor of department of general surgeon at Sitaram, Bhartiya. Yes, sir. I also welcome Dr. Chong over here from, he's the chairman for CMAAO. Sir, Dr. Mahesh Mishra, over to you.
Saurabh, are my slides visible?
Absolutely, sir.
Yes, visible.
Yeah, please make it as a presentation mode, if it's okay.
Yeah, I'm doing that. And
yeah, continue.
Thank you so much, Dr. Saurabh, for giving me this opportunity to speak what I feel about trauma. Trauma injury is an epidemic of current millennium, there is no doubt, and I'll give my reasons for it. And since I am from India, so I'll give an overview of what is happening to trauma care in India, and then it has global perspective, because in the region, whether we have Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, or other Asian countries, 88% of this burden is in emerging economies, developing countries today, according to WHO. So what I have, I'm going to take you through the magnitude of this problem, what we face globally and also in Indian context, and also what we all can do for prevention and also improving trauma care, which is a huge challenge for our geography in this part of the world with limited resources, and most trauma patients they belong to middle and lower middle or economically backward community or population. So that is what I'll take you through over next 45 minutes or so. Last year, October 17th, and every year in October 17th, we basically celebrate or remember World Trauma Day. And in that, we remember the survivors and also the trauma care providers. I think that is something which all we must continue to do that. And if you look at this, why I'm showing this up front, this is
फैमिली इनका किसी को भी
this was a patient who worked as a technician in my hospital where I am currently affiliated to, Sitaram Bhartiya, and he was going in Delhi on his motorcycle, and then he met this accident with a commercial truck, and you can see he lost basically
family
both his limbs, one above knee, one below knee. And this happened not too long ago. It was very recent. So when we look at in context of India's total landmass is seventh largest after Australia. And we all know that we have ever increasing population like in subcontinent, and we have 29 states and 9 union territories, and we spend almost in India 3% of our GDP on trauma care. And with increased modernization of automobiles and highways, and with multiplicity of road users, this is a unique challenge for our geography in subcontinent. That there was a study conducted by someone who they studied that 90 types of traffic competes for the same road space. So that is something is a huge challenge for us. Again, this is something which I want to share. This is a rural area near Jaipur not too long ago, where this, if you see, these people who were injured because of the transformer that got fire, and there was very little pre-hospital care they received. Now, if you look at this, is the city of Jaipur, one speeding car coming from the back hitting two brothers sitting on a motorbike. Can you imagine? This is horrific incident which happened, and both these brothers who were going to see their mother in a hospital, who was admitted in a hospital, died. And that is the kind of trauma we are facing on a day-to-day basis. This is an highway from Delhi to Agra. In winter months, there is a lot of fog on this highway, and we see these multiple accidents on this highway. Then India's total landmass, if we look at in subcontinent included in this, is prone for high or medium seismic earthquakes. And we have seen some in the region, some of the worst earthquakes, which we see, like recently we witnessed some earthquake in Philippines. Similarly, Indonesia. So the Asia is also prone for these earthquakes, where we lose a lot of lives, limbs, and a lot of economic poverty because of that. Then again, in context of India, we have a huge rail network, and we have seen in recent times some of the worst rail accidents.
The express from Mahara to Chennai, which was coming south. Balasore is where with the
again, we witness a lot of floods and landslides. As you can see, this rail track basically hanging. Then, if you look at, we also witness a lot of terrorism and bomb blasts, and we had clashes in 2020 in Galwan Valley. We lost 20 of our brave hearts. Then the floods annually, and unsafe building collapses. We see every rainy season in Mumbai, and the old buildings. And then if you look at there have been some steps taken for which are making some difference in improving pre-hospital rescue and evacuation, but still lot needs to be done for that. And sometimes we do see an anomalous survivor like this J&K police person who was injured at a very close range with the AK-47 rifle, and then he was admitted in a nearby military hospital where he underwent thoracotomies, 4 laparotomies, thoracotomy, and packing of his liver, was transfused with 30 units of blood, and then we transferred him to Trauma Center AIIMS Delhi, and we didn't expect that he would survive, but overall he stayed with us for 42 days. He required 12 operations, 70 units of blood and blood components, and we could discharge him walking. So lesson we learned in trauma, these are young lives, young people, and we must not give up on them. And even most difficult or seriously injured people, individuals can survive. So that is the lesson we learned. Then Afghanistan war we saw, where if you look at the mean age of 23 years of these, mostly these are penetrating injuries, and the variables which are significantly associated with that were age more than 34 years, mine and bullet injuries, length of stay is increased, and naturally injury severity score more than 17. So one can imagine what happens in the war wounds. Similarly, the highest mortality we see for combined thoracoabdominal trauma in these war wounds and penetrating trauma it is. So, and if you look at mortality rate has come down as compared to Second World War, as compared to Vietnam War, although the amputation rates have gone up. And that speaks about the pre-hospital rescue and evacuation, and also care within the hospital. So patterns of injury in a combat environment is changing now. And then we also witness the bus falling into a gorge, killing a lot of people, and this keeps happening. Then on a day-to-day basis, road accidents, and one can really imagine that. Again, we had 17 soldiers martyred in Uri terrorist attack, and then Pulwama we witnessed in 2019. So all these things are happening all around. Then the Naxalites, fortunately, the Naxalite problem in our country is getting over. So we may not witness such ghastly incidents. Then individually, even the rich are not spared from road deaths. This is Cyrus Mistry, who was associated or maybe trustee of Tata Trust and Tata Group, and he died in a road accident while traveling in a very sophisticated car. So these things, a bizarre incident which we witness, where a driver on a motorbike hit say car, standing car with the driver and the passenger, and killing both of them. So basically what we say in trauma, it is, if incidents we look at, it is 30 per 100,000. And I can tell you, none of the cancers in this part of the world, although the cancer is on rise, but has this kind of an incidence of 30 per 100,000. So the most common cancer, which is breast cancer in women, and that is, this incidence of that cancer is also not as high as 30 per 100,000 in our country, opposed to Western countries which have 140, 160 per 100,000 incidence. So one can imagine that where we stand as regards accidental deaths. Then a lot needs to be done with helmet enforcement in the subcontinent, and which will prevent up to 90% severe brain injuries. So there is an unabated road menace we are witnessing actually. And if you look at this, road fatalities are rising. They are not coming down yet. So railroad accident also is a problem. in this part of the world where we witness, because there are a lot of crossings which are not yet as much sanitized as in the Western countries. Then if we look at in 2018, traffic injury deaths were basically there were traffic accidents, and you see the proportion of those accidents, proportion of injured and death, you can imagine. It's a very high. So 3 states in India, which are large states like UP, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu, represent maximum road deaths in India. Again, uh, road accidents, if we look at railroad accidents, also are a significant cause of these injuries. Now, if you look at 2019 and then compare with 2020, when COVID hit this country and the whole world, during the lockdowns, witnessed the lowest road deaths in last 11 years. So basically, if we look at the pattern that commercial vehicles are responsible for the maximum number of deaths, and then naturally the metropolitan big cities bear the brunt, like in the context of India, Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and so on. There have been some silver linings where we have made some small changes, like in Tamil Nadu, which have brought down the road accidental deaths by speed restrictions, by helmet enforcement, better illumination, proper signage, road medians, stricter enforcement, barricades, and high mast lamps. Occasionally, we see such bizarre accident or the blast injury, and even this ghastly injury can be undone by a dedicated team of surgeons, plastic surgeons, reconstructive surgeons. So what we are witnessing today is a tremendous human tragedy with loss of lives, limbs, and permanent disabilities. Now, Russia-Ukraine war, we all see it is ongoing since 2022, and we are not seeing any uh, respite in this war. And anybody's guess how many civilians have died, how many armed forces have died and wounded. So this is ongoing. Then again, Israel-Hamas war, and now we also are witnessed recently the Iran war. So injury per se, if we look at, it is the third commonest cause of death in all ages, and it costs 3% of GDP. We all know that trauma care actually requires $500 billion globally for trauma care, and which is a huge. And how many countries have that kind of a GDP? So that is something. And as I mentioned, the 88% of this burden of road traffic injuries are in developing countries. Why we are talking of road traffic injuries? Because if you look at global scenario, according to WHO, the road traffic deaths constitute 25% of all the deaths. After that, there are falls and other penetrating trauma. While if you look at Indian subcontinent, the road traffic deaths are 40%. They constitute 40%. 13 people every minute are dying because of injuries. If you look at globally, it is 8 people dying every minute. And you see the WHO projection, road traffic injuries in Asian countries, or the 28% almost, the Southeast Asia region. So that bears the biggest brunt of as compared to other geographies according to WHO. So trauma deaths also exceed both put together cancer and heart disease, because trauma is the disease of the young, while cancer and heart disease they do not happen in that young age as much as in over 50 years of age. Similarly, years of productive life lost due to injury exceed both put together cancer and heart disease for the same reason. So one can imagine the economic impact on the family, on the society, and on the nation. And it is one of the commonest reasons for people to go into debt in rural and urban India. And why? Because if I have a heart disease, I may refuse to get treated if I don't have money. But if I break my bone, I have to get it fixed. And that is something we have to understand when we are talking about injury. If we compare from developed countries, like if you see Sweden and UK, 6 per 100,000 traffic fatalities, while India it is 30 per 100,000, and same will be for our subcontinent, and it 15 in USA and France. So you can see that where we are and where the developed societies are in this. So almost close to 4,000 people die on world's roads every day. Tens of millions of people injured and disabled every year. Children, pedestrians, cyclists, and older people among the most vulnerable of road users. And that is the most worrying aspect of injuries. We talk of infectious diseases. Every disease is important. Cancer is important. Heart diseases are important. Mental health illnesses are important. If you look at disability adjusted life year lost due to injury, again it exceeds both put together cancer and heart disease. And if you look at disability adjusted life year lost, it is third. Injury is the third commonest after cardiovascular illnesses and mental health illnesses. Now, if you see the care of these patients, a patient basically who was hit on a road, on a basically toll booth, and you see his chest is open, lung is visible, and he is taken to 2 to 3 hospitals before he could get the definitive care with the help of a surgeon who was interested, and he resuscitated and took this patient personally to a tertiary care setup where his chest was closed, and this man survived. But he required almost 1 month hospital stay. So again, saving limbs requires prolonged hospitalization and intense labor, intense and teamwork, where orthopedic surgeons, plastic surgeons, and play a role. So if you look at trend in road traffic deaths, for example, in UK and another developed country, you see 2001 to 2010, 3 per 100,000. India, subcontinent, 30 per 100,000. Again, there has been steady increase in road deaths in subcontinent. So we did see some decline in 2020 because of COVID. But if we compare the proportion of accidents, proportion of injuries, and proportion of deaths is very high as compared to developed countries. So that is something we have to do something about it. And speeding alone caused 71% of all road deaths. This is the data which suggests that, the data by the National Crime Record Bureau of India. And again, 72% of motorized automobiles on our roads are two-wheelers. These are not four-wheel, because most people cannot afford four wheels. And that is why the bike riders almost dying. 75,000 bike riders lost their lives in 2022. And this is again repeatedly happening year-on-year basis. And naturally, Delhi is a very populous region, and that's why it has the highest number of road fatalities. And again, non-compliance of seat belt has been responsible for head injuries and many other injuries. So it is still steadily rising. You can see, and when we compared from USA, because USA also is a large country, although the population wise it is much less than the subcontinent or India, and the number of vehicles in USA is far larger than in our countries. Total road accidents are also happening in very large numbers in USA as compared to our country. But road fatalities, you see, is much less than compared to India. Again, total road injuries again are higher in USA, but if you look at average road fatalities per hour, they are much less in USA. And if I am involved in a road crash, my chances of dying on an Indian road is 1 in 5 opposed to 1 in 69 in USA. And that speaks about the trauma system, which has efficient pre-hospital evacuation and rescue, very rapid transport to the emergency department, protocolized care in every emergency department. There is a trauma team waiting there, and that is what makes the difference. So the US has 6 times more vehicles than India, 15 times more road accidents. Road fatality figure is 37% of India's. The key difference is in the profile of victims. In India, it is primarily pedestrians, cyclists, two-wheelers, while in US it is four-wheeler riders, basically. So there has been, and WHO actually projected this, which I mentioned, that disability adjusted life year lost at number 3 now. So there has been a growing realization in India. There is a huge gap which exists between what we have, what we need. And now the magnitude is increasing by the day. So Government of India took some initiatives by planning and building level 2, level 3 trauma centers along the golden quadrilateral. There's a road network from north to south, east to west, and pre-hospital care covering both rural and urban India. But the challenge before all of us is to engage trained medical and paramedical manpower to provide 24/7 acute care. This trauma center, Apex Trauma Center, which was established in 2006, and I was part of that, and I got the opportunity to get involved with this trauma center, one of a unique trauma center in this part of the world. Let me see if this video works. I'll just take you through what this trauma center is all about, if you are able to see the video.
Disasters can strike anytime. Stealthily, without a warning, they uproot the familiar world, leaving mass casualties in their trail. What we need is a facility eternally ready to deal with any eventuality in its totality. Just such a facility was conceived and concretized in the wake of such disasters under the aegis of All India Institute of Medical Sciences. The JPN Apex Trauma Center is designed as a 24/7 facility to deliver global-class, leading-edge treatment for trauma victims. Equipped with every conceivable medical facility, the center attains a level of preparedness and organization never seen in the country before. Everything needed to provide medical succor is ever ready, at hand, round the clock, throughout the year. All facilities are available at an intense state of preparedness, just waiting for the call. An army of well-prepared doctors, nurses, and paramedics are waiting to help as soon as the victims are wheeled in. An amazing level of organized efforts sees them quickly categorized and attended to by diverse specialists, supported by state-of-the-art equipment and human warmth. Even as hope and anxiety mounts, mountains of effort, infinite coordination, and incredible organization perform medical miracles. Constant updation of skills, processes, expertise, and equipment are undertaken to ensure zero-error readiness. Regular and frequent training, seminars and workshops with international and national experts ensure a razor-sharp readiness and all-encompassing expertise. Yet, all this is just the beginning of a new era. As GPN Apex Trauma Center engenders many such facilities in every corner of the country. We cannot prevent disasters, but we can be well prepared to spread the rays of hope among the unfortunate victims.
So WHO also declared a decade of action for road safety in 2011 to 2020. The mandate was that if we can reduce road deaths by 50%. It had 5 pillars. Pillar 1 was road safety management. Pillar 2 was infrastructure. Pillar 3 was safe vehicles. Pillar 4 was road user behavior. Well, we fall in the pillar 5, that is post-crash care. And I don't think we have achieved that, but it created awareness. Now, if you look at pediatric trauma, also is important because children are impacted significantly in trauma, and it is 22 per 100,000 in India as opposed to 12 per 100,000 in US. Again, so what we need to do to improve trauma care, components of any trauma care would start from pre-hospital evacuation and rescue, in hospital resuscitation to rehabilitation. So there have been efficient hospital care which is required, and for that protocolized care is the key. That is where the role of advanced trauma life support courses and training goes a long way in improving post-crash care and developing a trauma team concept in these healthcare facilities. So we need paramedic training on our ambulances, those who are involved in pre-hospital evacuation, training of doctors and nurses, where ATLS, advanced trauma life support for doctors and dental surgeons, advanced trauma care for nurses, and we also designed one ultrasound trauma life support, because today ultrasound has become integral part of initial assessment of these patients. And then naturally we can also have rural trauma team concept, advanced trauma operative management courses, and short-term and long-term trauma training at tertiary trauma care centers for improving the outcomes. So there have been growing realization in India, I can tell you about. It is a major public health problem. Planning of trauma centers along highways has been there. Upgradation of various medical colleges has been happening. Every new institution, the AIIMS-like institution coming, and there are now 26 of them, where the trauma and emergency departments have been made mandatory. So this is a good step government has taken. But still, the demand is very high, supply is less, and there is a huge gap which exists. So I'll just take you through the journey of advanced trauma life support course. This is almost practically every state of India has a ATLS site today. And we started advanced trauma life support courses in 2009 at Trauma Center AIIMS Delhi. And since then, we have been expanding the ATLS sites all across the states. So another hospital in Delhi, we had a site in 2009 itself. Then the Indian Institute of Emergency Medical Services, Kerala, in 2010. And then Ahmedabad, another site was opened. Then Maharashtra, Pune, in 2012, again another in Mumbai in 2012, Chennai in 2013, Jipmer, Puducherry, which is the southern part of the country, in 2014, another Goa, another site in 2016, and then the very leading university, King George's Medical University, Lucknow, in 2016, we had a site. We also held workshops for basically 10th edition launch. When it was launched in 2018, this was with the help of American College of Surgeons Committee on Trauma. We launched. Now, of course, we have transitioned from 10th to 11th very recently in April of this year. Then this update session we had to carry forward in the country. This is the 10th ATLS site we had in Armed Forces, Command Hospital, Air Force, Bangalore. And then, since then, we have been expanding steadily. The Ambedkar Medical College was the 11th site. And then we steadily have been, so Maharashtra and Karnataka have the largest number of ATLS sites. This is Ramaya Medical College in Bengaluru. And again, Amrita Hospital, Faridabad was our 29th site. That is in Haryana. And then St. Joe's Medical College in Bangalore again. This was 30th site. And Christian Medical College, Vellore, 31st site. Then another medical college in Haryana, Ambala, 32nd site. 33rd was Kolkata, Sister Nivedita University. Then Medica Super Specialty Hospital, Kolkata is a very prized site. 34th ATLS site. 35th was Geetam Institute in Andhra Pradesh. 36th was Mahatma Gandhi Medical College and Research Institute in Puducherry. This was our 36th site. 37th was Bareilly in UP. And then another site, this is 38th site, Ananda Bigyan Healthcare Life Sciences in Bengaluru. So this is, we are very proud of. Then again in Tamil Nadu, in Coimbatore Ganga Hospital, it's a very leading hospital for trauma care and very, very important institution in trauma care, Ganga Hospital, 39th ATLS site. And then Aster MIMS Simulation Center with Aster Group in Kozhikode, Kochi, the Calicut. We had the 40th site, and then Gangaram Hospital in Delhi. I'm sure there is another Gangaram Hospital in Lahore also. 41st ATLS site, and then Sharda University in Greater Noida in UP, 42nd site. 43rd site was Apollo Simulation Center in Chennai very recently. Then 44th site was basically this SRM near Chennai. And this is Vaidehi Super Specialty Hospital, 45th site in Lucknow AMC Center. This is again, we are very proud of that now most medical officers who are joining armed forces will be getting ATLS training before they are posted in the field. And this was the 46th ATLS site. Then 47th was the Mala Reddy Institute of Medical Sciences in Andhra Pradesh. Then AIIMS Guwahati was our 48th site. 49th was again Sambhajinagar Mahatma Gandhi basically Mission Institute of Health Sciences in Sambhajinagar, Maharashtra. And the 50th site was our Red Tech Academy, Hyderabad. They have two sites, one in Chennai and one in Hyderabad. So, and we have conducted about 111 now instructor courses. This is one of the representing instructor course at Max Hospital, Delhi. So we have conducted over 50 sites, more than 1,000 provider courses, 112 instructor courses, and a large number of, we have ATLS faculty, course directors, course faculty, course coordinators, and large number of participants have taken these courses. So it is making some difference in the care of the trauma. I'll just take you through this video before finishing. Why I shared this video, it showed the teamwork. It was very unusual rescue. The patient was brought in the same car which they were traveling, and these two iron rods, they went through the windscreen, penetrated and impaled both these passengers in the car, and they were rescued and evacuated at the trauma center. And this man, you can see he was a very tall Ivory Coast national, required 70 units of blood and blood product within 24 hours, and he made it. And this is something which was very, very amazing for all of us, very encouraging. So what I would say at the end, that injury prevention requires a lot of enforcement and also change of road behavior, awareness about injury prevention. We all must focus. Injury research is very much needed in our part of the world. Organized pre-hospital care can do a lot good in coming years. Trauma education and training for immediate care providers, from surgeons, for orthopedic surgeon, neurosurgeons, surgical critical care, etc. It's a multi-pronged strategy which is required. So injury prevention is a huge challenge, but it can go a long way in reducing the cost of care, and it's a social responsibility. It's an to contain this injury epidemic, we have to uh, be the advocates of injury prevention. All the physicians must be the advocates of injury prevention. Uh, we have also launched one journal under the aegis of Indian Society of Trauma and Acute Care. This is Journal of Injury and Acute Care. I would urge all our colleagues around the various geographies can contribute to this journal, and we'll welcome that to improve trauma research in our part of the world. I'll end with this video, which we have prepared this trauma first responder program, which is available. And if somebody is interested, we can share the details. And this is something which is very much needed. So the future directions, integrating combat trauma life support with ATLS, to make ATLS compulsory for doctors and dental surgeons across specialties. Also continue with injury research, produce credible data, and taking this philosophy to across Indian subcontinent. So thank you again, Dr. Saurabh, and over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra, for the wonderful, insightful understanding about emergency care, trauma care, and what needs to be done after the accident. I think it is a golden hour, we call it. So we will open the question answers round for the public. Please come forward and ask the question. We can just end the slide so that we can see everyone.
Okay.
It's okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Dr. Monica, do you have any comments about how, because I think in US, the accidents are, they are very less, but what I know is if it happens, it is the end because the speed of the car and, the how it is. So can you make a comment on that?
So trauma care is outside of the realm of what I normally do on a day-to-day basis. My work is all about prevention. So I'm on that end of the spectrum of healthcare, but I'm a citizen of a community that spends a lot of time looking at regulations on wearing seatbelts, about speed, which you had mentioned, which is definitely a killer, and also following the rules so that the person who is driving can anticipate those around them and that everybody is following in a pattern of expected movement so that there's less trauma. The problem is not I think it's multi-pronged. It's like you have very many users of roadways in India. You have pedestrians, you have two-wheelers, you have multi-wheelers. Everybody's going at different speeds and the rules are very different. I think the world on our side is going to be a lot about this self-driving mode. These vehicles, and you even have driverless vehicles like Waymos that are coming in, and we're going to see a shift in, I think, the road-related accidents. I live in a state where motorcyclists are not required by law to wear helmets. I remember my first day when I was in training as a internal medicine resident. I was in the neuro ICU, and I remember a 19-year-old girl, and she was covered in a sheet, and her hand was extended out underneath the white sheet, and her nails were perfectly manicured, with her parents, her brother, standing on the side and realizing that they had lost their family member due to a road accident. It's unfortunate no matter where you are in the world, and every effort. Dr. Mishra has outlined multiple avenues of at least addressing the healthcare communities to make sure that there's adequate training, adequate centers, so that you have the manpower and you have the infrastructure to be able to address these accidents when they occur, the strategic placement of these centers along roadways that are used and more likely to face accidents. But I think it's a commitment both on society to understand rules and to navigate if the weather is bad, if the weather is foggy and it's anticipated to foggy, to minimize outdoor movement. These are all little things that I think that are very important. But Dr. Mishra, you've made a difference. You have saved countless of lives, and not only what you've done, but how you've instructed and taught others, and also by your mission of making sure that there's care available. So thank you for what you've done.
Thank you so much.
Saurabh, may I say something? Saurabh, can I say? Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Professor Mishra, for wonderful talk indeed. And it is pleasant to listen that Gangaram Hospital in Delhi, and we have also Gangaram Hospital in Lahore, and we call it as Sir Gangaram Hospital.
And also Shadra University of
Secondly, what I would like
Pakistan.
to say, what I want to say, that Sir Gangaram Hospital is considered to be, as we consider in Pakistan, in Punjab particularly, father of modern Lahore. A lot of things have been established by Sir Gangaram in Punjab, in Pakistan, Punjab, what we have today. As far as some few words about the ATLS, ATLS is very much essential for post-graduation program in Pakistan. And we are doing it all for the medical students, particularly about after the third year, ATLS is there. And we are also trying to put in the hospitals for training purposes. You said very rightly that there is the natural and the man-made calamities. And unfortunately, Pakistan is also not different from all that. We had the floods, we have the bomb blast, we have the roadside accident, but we are doing something a bit, trying to do something as a representative. And as I was talking to you in our private discussion, that as a social worker and as the representative of the Pakistan Medical Association, in Punjab and now almost in Pakistan, we have emergency service under one telephone number, and we call it as a 1122. And people are very much trained for that. We evacuate. The first service is very much lively, and we are saving all that. Now we are implementation of the law, that is the helmet. Use of the helmet that have drastically reduced the number of deaths and the head injuries, what we have noticed in Pakistan. And the second, by the bi-wheeler, that problem is still we are facing, that is the side mirror. Side mirror are not been implemented properly, and that is the accident, which is the most of the death that are by the motorcyclists, what are happening over there. We have the good evacuation system. Trauma centers we are trying to establish, and it has been established in district level trauma centers, but to be very frank, it is not of that much what we call as a trauma center. Only in Karachi, we have purposely built a trauma center and doing the best possible over there and having very good results in Karachi. As far as I have feel that what is important, that is the implementation of law and the civic responsibility by the government and certainly by the people who are on the roads. We are just in hurry for what, I don't know, God know how it is all. Having all that appreciation to your presentation, thank you very much. And again, my appreciation to your name, the Mishra, which has made me emotional, to be very frank, very close and best friend of mine was Mishra, and may he live long. Mishra must be in Bhilai. I want to ask a simple question, that there was a time when we were talking about establishing the trauma centers. But now, what do you think that whether we need the trauma centers or Institute of Orthopedics, or it should be under one roof? Likewise, the tertiary care hospitals and tertiary care hospitals should have the better services for the trauma patient management. This is my question, Dr. Mishra, please. Thank you.
Professor Ashraf, I agree all the comments, and thank you so much. And I take your last question about a standalone trauma center versus having a trauma team in a tertiary care setup, the way US has done. Basically, when in 88, 89, I was in UK on a trauma care fellowship for 1 year. In 88, ATLS was brought in UK from USA after 10 years of its establishment, promulgation of ATLS. And there was a lot of talk at that time. In UK, they did a study in England and Wales on trauma deaths. And they analyzed 1,000 deaths in England and Wales. And they came out that 33% of deaths were preventable. They gave the data to 4 independent assessors one orthopedic surgeon, one anesthesiologist, one general surgeon, like that, an emergency physician. And 3 assessors agreed that 20% deaths were preventable, and all 4 assessors agreed that 33% of the deaths were preventable. And reasons were that those who required operative intervention could not be operated on time. For example, splenic rupture, and similarly head trauma, etc. So there was a recommendation by the committee, working committee of Royal College, to establish trauma centers. But then it was felt, in USA it was also felt, that standalone trauma centers would be too expensive a proposition. And that is why now in US they have a good system of having trauma teams within the same tertiary care hospital, and same thing is there now in can be there in every country, in Pakistan, India, everywhere, because standalone trauma center is an expensive proposition, and we do need cross referrals for trauma patient also. Trauma patient may need a gastroenterologist opinion, they need an endocrinologist opinion, they need pulmonary physician. So I think that is what my experience from this trauma center is, that we have succeeded because it is part of the overall All India Institute of Medical Sciences, in close proximity, although they are different geographically, they are different campuses, but they are in close proximity. There is a connectivity. So we were able to basically succeed because of that. But now in most other new AIIMS like institutions which are coming up now across the country, 26 of them have been established now. Every institution is now having a department of trauma and emergency as a standalone entity, and they take care of the trauma. Because why we felt the need, because, and in the US also it would be the same thing, that a surgeon is doing his elective list. Like you may have your knee replacement surgery lined up, and suddenly a trauma comes, and if somebody tells you, Dr. Ashraf, don't do this knee replacement, do this trauma, you are not very keen to do that. And most orthopedic surgeon or any physician, like if I am doing a laparoscopic cholecystectomy, I would say I'm going to do my laparoscopic cholecystectomy and not trauma. So trauma was getting a raw deal, second grade treatment in the hospitals, and that was leading to poorer outcomes basically, but the treatments were delayed. And that was the reason US, then they thought it's a good idea to have trauma teams, separate trauma teams for injured patient, and rest of the emergencies can be taken care as they are. And that is what will work economically also, financially as well, and logistically also. And that is what is happening, and that should happen in I think most geographies.
Thank you, Dr. Mishra.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra. You made my point that under one.
Can I say one thing? Can I say one thing? Oh, thank you so much. First of all, thank you so much. I am Professor Bukhari from Pakistan, Lahore. And thank you so much, Professor Ashraf and Mahesh Mishra. You gave a lot of suggestions. But I will add one thing more. I am not an orthopedic surgeon. That as the WHO has mentioned the 5 pillars for the trauma, as a Pakistan living in Pakistan, Dr. Ashraf, I will request you to send these recommendations to the government. That before the safety of the traffic is very important, the training of the drivers and the awareness of the public, because this should be first pillar in Pakistan and India, because the similar accidents we are looking in India and Pakistan, because the driver do not know, untrained drivers are there, and the public do not know. Even so, these 2 important things I think is very important to create the awareness and create. So these things will reduce the number of accidents, and when the number of accidents will reduce, the patient will reduce. Thank you so much.
Very, very, very good point, Dr. Bukhari, and I couldn't agree more on this with you. If you look at now the 11th edition ATLS has incorporated prevention also as a strong component of ATLS program. Dr. Monica is working in area of prevention, and what you said, driver training, and that also focuses on that. But naturally, who should train the drivers? And our countries, the licenses, how they are given to drivers, who regulates that? So it has happened in developed countries that they have more disciplined driver training, more, very strict laws enforcement. What we have, lot of laws, but they are not enforced across board. And then the drivers actually keep driving for long hours, so they fall asleep, and lack of sleep is one of the very important reasons for these accidents. When we see a bus falling into a khud in Uttarakhand or in Kashmir or Himachal or somewhere, and killing 50 people in one incident, and if it happens in the evening, the rescue will not begin before next morning when the sunrise happens. So it's a very important aspect that but needs to be enforced. And then we have to define, automobile association in India is doing some training, but that is naturally not sufficient. And then there are economic reasons, and these employers, they force these drivers to for long driving, not giving them the basically replacement when they require. Like, you see the why airline safety is there, because pilots cannot fly more than X number of hours. They have to have rest. So this thing has not been implemented across board in our countries, and I don't see in near future also it will be changed very rapidly and radically in coming decade. But all of us must make effort for that, and that is something our Minister for Surface Transport and Transport Minister, Mr. Nitin Gadkari, he is very serious about it. They're bringing down the road, because he is involved with this development of all these highways in India. So he is very much aware of this problem. So I completely agree with you on this.
So just to add, Dr. Mishra over here, I think there was also an initiative where the eyesight checking for the riders and the taxi drivers and the truck drivers was very important. And we were trying to take an initiative because these people don't get time for their regular health checkup, and they are, like you said, they're long extended hours. So eyesight, in fact, in US, I think one of the very well-known company in India, they try to take initiative with one of the universities in US in California, and they were trying to get all the Uber drivers to get eyesight checkup, but that project never kicked off. Even the CPR training was very we are trying to get it mandate for all the delivery boys, all the people who are always on the street, because ambulance take a lot of time to come over. So bystanders who are there, the kind of training we can give for people who are just present there, that golden hour of accident, what people can do, we were taking those initiatives also at that time.
Yes, Saurabh, if I may request you, if you are taking these initiatives, very simple. For trauma, you don't need complete CPR training.
Absolutely.
Trauma, you need very basic. Trauma is one disease which doesn't require a lot of high-tech things. It doesn't require AI.
Absolutely.
It requires common sense. If somebody is bleeding, you
Accept
have
the
to
common
stop that
sense.
bleed. External bleed has to be stopped, which is very simple. But there is another problem which we face, although there is a Supreme Court
The
ruling,
hospitals, right?
the Good Samaritan law, they have approved, and no question will be asked if somebody takes a
Absolutely.
patient to the emergency department, but still people are apprehensive.
Apprehensive,
They
right?
are scared that if we do that, question, police might harass us.
Absolutely.
So there are huge gaps. There is one entity called Save Life Foundation by Piyush Tiwari, who is doing work in this area. But I think more efforts needs to be put in by more people. in this area also. So I agree. We are able to do very little. There a lot needs to be done in preventing injury from happening, and once it happens, then timely intervention, because trauma is a time sensitive disease. It's not like cancer. You can still have few days or few weeks, but trauma is a time sensitive disease. If we don't open the airway, if we don't stop the bleed, somebody will die. So that is why trauma is a disease which is easily manageable, but then there are challenges.
One thing, Dr. Mishra, I would like to share that there were good times when we had to have the first aid box in our cars. I don't know about India, but in Pakistan that has gone. Now I rarely see a first aid box in our cars. Even in my car, I don't have the first aid box. So I think that was a law. I was a kid when I used to see in my car, but as I'm grown up, I don't see any first aid. And you have very rightly said that the people are very much scared to help the person from the roadside, taking to the hospital and all that, the legal. I'm happy to know that Indian Supreme Court has given such an rulings, and here we will also, I will go through and I will also strive for that to implement in Pakistan too. Thank you very much for that, sharing the point.
Absolutely, thank you.
So I think if we have no more questions in the interest of time, there are people over here past midnight. Over here, so I would, if there are no more questions, we will wind up this session quickly.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
Saurabh, can I say?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, good morning, good night, everybody, wherever you are. Thank you very much, Dr. Mishra. It was a really excellent presentation. I am an ENT surgeon, and we have a lot of injuries of faces, nose, ear, everything. But the problem is we, as a Pakistan Medical Association activist, we have a slogan: the prevention is better than cure. I think the bottom line is that two things. The one is the awareness to the people is very important. People should know. And the other one is the what you said and Dr. Nizami said is the implementation or enforcement of the law. And the law should be strictly and should be followed. The second thing, I think the drivers, you said the lack of sleep is causing the accidents. My opinion is that they are also involved in the addictive materials. Through smoking, through betel nuts, chalia, gutka, these type of things. So the Saurabh very well said that the regular medical checkup for the drivers is very, very important. The hearing problem, the vision problem, the overall health is allowing them to drive big vehicles or middle vehicles, whatever it is. So the bottom line is the government should implement the strict rules of traffic and everything. And the people should know that how to manage an injuries. Injuries can be the natural disaster or man-made disasters, injuries. So the people should aware how to manage as a first aid at a home, at a mall, shopping mall, and on the road. So this is very important to people know how to stop the bleeding from the nose. So this is very important. So by the time you are taking this patient to the hospital, the patient expired because of the loss of bleeding. So anyhow, I have this opinion. Thank you very much, Saurabh, for giving me time. Thank you.
Bilkul, absolutely, Dr. Sajjad. We couldn't agree more on what you say. And this is a very socio-economic aspect also we have to look at in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and other Asian countries. That is something That is why ATLS has now brought a prevention component also for the ATLS participants, that environment, basically, we have education and enforcement, engineering, environment, education, enforcement. So enforcement of law is the key, but it is far from satisfactory, whether it's Pakistan, whether it's India, whether it's Bangladesh, whether it's any other Asian country. Other countries may be better. I don't know, Sri Lanka might be better, or other Far East countries might be better in this. But in what I see in India, it's appalling. The way people drive, and 90 types of traffic on the road competes the same road space. There are pedestrians, there are children, there are animals, there are bullock carts, there are bicyclists, there are motorcyclists, there are two-wheelers, commercial vehicles. So this is something which we need. But certain things, as everybody has agreed, it's not only government which can do everything we expect. If government will do everything, then it is not. As a good Samaritan, we also need to basically, as a good Samaritan, we all have to contribute, each one of us, as much as we can. We can only contribute a little, but what we say, बूंद बूंद से सरोवर बनता है या समुद्र बनता है. So everybody has to contribute. I'll just give you one example of lack of sleep. Recently, somebody contacted me for that they had gone to visit some place in India, and he hit the car in a truck, his own car. So I always ask how this thing happened, and they were quite a well-off people working for a multinational, and he developed spine trauma, quadriplegia almost. And I said, how it happened? He said he fell asleep, and that happened 8:30 in the morning. So we ourselves have to be, doctors have done this mistake. We lost one doctor, orthopedic doctor from Ghaziabad in near Delhi. He was traveling 2 o'clock in the morning by his own car. There nobody's fault, going and then hitting a divider, because he attended a party. And a doctor attending an IMA party, I don't know in Pakistan Medical Association, but IMA parties will not happen without alcohol. So there are many factors which are responsible.
Pakistanis have to travel abroad.
So I think there are huge issues. Individually also, we have to be safety conscious. So in India, I jokingly say that people walk with their life on their palm. Jaan hateli pe leke chal rahe hain. No, they don't care what is going to happen. So that behavioral change has to happen for safety. This is something like, it never occurred to me when I would ride a bike when I was young, or nobody provided me, that the economics also plays some part. Today, my granddaughter cannot ride a bike without a helmet. So I think these things have come. Economics also plays a part in this, I must say. These truck drivers are tired. Naturally, they think that by consuming alcohol or substance, their performance will increase. Although the performance goes down, there is nobody to tell them. And that is why they consume all these things, and they come from low socioeconomic group. And then what all happens on the roadside, dhabas and other things.
Okay, I think with this
I
note,
think Dr. Mishra, this thing should be included in the primary, secondary education, in the institution as a curriculum, and there should be a workshop for the children, primary and secondary classes, so that from the very beginning they know the rules and regulation, and they should also aware of how to manage the first aid. I think it should start in the school and colleges.
Absolutely, absolutely. Couldn't agree more on that.
Thank you, sir.
In the interest of time, I think we would like to wind up the session. Just a take-home message, which I would like to first say is that an accident victim has a greatest chance of survival often when the ordinary people around them, take action. So don't be a silent spectator. Don't be don't be a person to take out the camera and record the accident. Just make a call and help them. Maybe it can save your life. And wear seatbelts and wear helmets. I think that is more important. And just be cautious when you're driving. That's all. Dr. Mishra, thank you so much for your wonderful session. I think this is one of the longest session over
I think,
period of time.
take the Stop the Bleed program as US has done, your American College of Surgeons Committee on Trauma. Stop the bleed, open the airway. I think these are the two which will save a lot of lives in
Absolutely. The blood loss, once it happens, I think it can cause a lot of problems. So I think Stop the Bleed is one of the very good initiative. You just stand there and do it. I don't think there is any legal problem. There will be no hassle. Your half an hour, 1 hour effort will make somebody's life. It can save it.
And another thing I would like to tell you, if in case you want, then there is a trauma evaluation and management program launched by American College of Surgeons. Another first responder program we have initiated under Indian Society of Trauma and Acute Care. Both are free of cost. There is no cost in both the programs. That is what we call team trauma evaluation and management. One of our friends in American College of Surgeons, he is an educator, Dr. Mayur Narayanan. He has been involved in designing this team, 4th edition, and it's a one-day program, and it focuses on these basic life-saving skills and some information given to the nurses, the lay public. It is for lay public and paramedics, basically. So that can be done, and I can help in conducting that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, so there are a lot of comments from Dr. Monica. I'll send it in the group. In the interest of time, we would like to wind up the session. Dr. Mishra, this is one of the longest session, I think, in last 1 year. And I think it's the most interesting and a most most interactive session. So we would like to invite you in future sessions. This is a very, very important topic. And I think it's a topic for every country. It's not only for India Limited, but
for every physician.
Every physician, every human being.
Generally, the physicians don't think about trauma.
Absolutely.
Although they are affected by it.
So I thank everyone over here to join this conversation. We would again join another topic in next 15 days. Till then, see you everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Saurabh.
One thing I want to send a request, please, that put on tuberculosis. That is the most common disease in our part of the world.
We will do that.
Get some experts, please. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mishra ji. बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया आपका, बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. Nice. Thank you.
एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भौ निर्वैर अकाल मूरत